Creativity is an addiction. You've got to listen to it and you've got to live with it as such. And when that happens, things begin to grow in a better, more positive way. Understanding who you are as a creative versus, I've got to go take on that challenge. It's a choice. It's a big choice. Unplugged because we will always say yes to creativity. Totally Uncut because we all make mistakes, so turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. I sit within this unprotected environment, this forest right here in South Charlotte, North Carolina. Unprotected, yet it has the bendability to survive every passing storm. How can a human being learn from something like this structure of trees? There has to be an answer here. Is it the entire community of all living things? The roots beneath my feet tied together in a way that serves as a net catching all things that fall. The forest seems noticeably silent this new sun. Or is it that I'm hearing less? If it were, I'd be listening to my inner roots, just like this forest. There's a lot protecting the limbs of life, but because we don't use them every day, it's almost too difficult to be grateful until they are used. I once said to a preacher, I bet the most beautiful part of a tree is the life that grows beneath the soil. His response didn't shock me. He says, I prefer to accept what we already have. An unprotected environment, the everyday world, as strong as the preacher's comments were, is as weak as I took his mindfulness of all living things. Bias? We're all biased. This forest doesn't seem to care that you might come with different ambitions. Sitting here inside this studio on this beautiful new morning, which happens to be December 16th, 2021, barely 33 degrees. The frost is on the forest floor. We've already seen a herd of deer this morning, 9, 10, a lot of babies, a couple of bucks. The trees, they are without leaves, except for the pines. The white pines still continue to stretch to reach the sky. And I still believe that beneath these trees, the rooting system is why we have a foundation that we can walk on every day. I was with an actor last week. His name is Matthew Dardario. And they recently filmed a movie in Jackson, Wyoming. And I asked him, how easy was it to film that movie on a forest floor? Because I know what a forest floor does and how the feet and legs react when it's not so smooth, that there are actual holes out there in the forest created by roots that were once there. So what is this all about? I think our own rooting system, that we don't honor it the way that we should. We put too much of ourselves on the outside and don't realize that on the inside of our mind, bodies, and souls, that there is a rooting system that we can lean on during times of question, challenge, defeat, and or just a moment of doubt. Learning to tap into that rooting system inside everything that you are isn't stealing from the universe, but rather walking with what the universe has shared with you. The roots of a tree are not what used to be. They are what keeps things growing forward. Without those roots, that tree would fall. My belief is in the rooting system, and not always what we seem to see. I'm Arroe. These aren't my words. These are the lyrics from Billy's Forest.